Mr. Hari sir, we can start the session. Mr. Ajit sir also joined.
Okay, sir. So, can you have all participants switch on the video, sir?
Participants can't switch on the video, but the panelists can switch on the video.
Yeah, panelists and. Okay, shall we start, sir?
Yes, please, we can start. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, அனைவருக்கும் இனிய காலை வணக்கங்கள். Very good morning. Thank you everybody for making time out of your busy schedules to attend this event. So this is a very nice Saturday, and we've got the support of CIA and IGBC to co-host this event, and that too it's very special because we are talking about an industry that's very vulnerable, and it has all the capability, all the potential to be one of the topmost industries, topmost contributors to the GDP. So that's the event all about. So we are talking about the real estate industry, and very specifically, we are going to discuss about the commercial real estate industry, how commercial real estate industry has got impacted by the pandemic, and how co-working as a segment of the commercial real estate industry is going to impact, and what will be the outlook for commercial real estate industry post pandemic. So that is going to be the discussion for the next 1 hour. So we are going to have participants, panelists from different segments of commercial real estate, representing PropTech, representing co-working, representing all other segments as well. So we'll down the line we will look at the agenda. So before that, I will take a very quick few minutes to introduce Hybrid Diligence Services. I'm Hari Madhavan. I'm one of the co-founders of Hybrid Diligence Services, shortly HTS. We have dedicated ourselves to building software products, technology solutions for commercial real estate and MSMEs. So we have been working for more than 20 plus years into commercial real estate industry across globe. We have supported many acquisitions, due diligence transactions in US, UK, and Asia Pacific regions. So in 2019, we started our products for Indian commercial real estate. That's our route, and we wanted to do something for our country, and so that's why we started to build some products into for the commercial real estate in India. So high space is one of our core products. We have other products as well that supports the MSME sectors and also the commercial real estate. We will also be launching more products in the same lines coming down the line. So this is about us very quickly. So this is about us, and so I, is it visible, audible, sir? Now?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, okay, good. Uh, so this is very shortly about HTS, and we have been into this industry since, as hybrid diligence, we have been to this industry since 2016, towards the end of 2016. Now, for any startup, crossing the fifth year is a really milestone, and we are into our fifth year. So we want to start this year with a small contribution from our side to the commercial real estate industry, and to that this event supports our entry into the fifth year, and we will be hosting more such events, and we'll be launching more products and solutions for commercial real estate. So to start the event, we have with us, it's like this. To give a very, if I have to very quickly talk about the key people here, I know for the first and foremost is our mentor. Like any of us, when we travel outside in the outstations, we use Google Map. When we go to the unknown places, we use Google Maps, right? So very similarly, our Google Map for HTS is Mr. V.K. Raman sir. He is the person who guides us. An entrepreneur's journey is an unknown location every day, every moment. So he is the person who is guiding us into this business. So thank you, V.K. Raman sir, for accepting this time and giving us your time for this event. So next, thank you, Ajit Kumar sir, for taking time out to be the chief guest of this event, and all the panel members, and especially Venkat. Thank you for your time as well to moderate the panel discussion. So thank you, everybody. Welcome, everybody, and I'm not going to take more time. I will now leave the stage to Vicky Raman sir to start the session. Sir, over to you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Hari. And my association with Hari, Madhavan, and Saju has been for over 15 years. Early on, when I met them when they were starting in their career, I found that they were very keen, they were open to learning, and hardworking. Not only hardworking, they were reliable and were able to diligently complete tasks. So that, see, good idea is only half the solution. Completion, execution, and closing, making the closure is full solution, right? That's what Hari and Saju showed at that, displayed at the time. So I'm really happy to be here today. I also found the panel is really a high-powered panel. Mr. Chordia from Olympia, we have some association, and we will get first-hand information of what's happening to real estate from him. And not only that, the entrepreneurs and some of the experienced entrepreneurs like Mr. Ethan, who served in Army, brings the rigor that Army has taught all of us. I think the panel is really, I look forward to listening to the panel and understanding what's happening to co-worker space, and also how the industry is changing. And with that, I welcome everybody. I thank CIA for allowing us this platform. The short video that I know that we watched about CIA is a fascinating story, right? So we can have a full session only on that. So I think we have the right participants here, the right panelists here, the right chief guest here, and the right platform here. With all that, I look forward to really engaging conversation today, and I look forward to learning from this session. Thank you very much, Hari and Saju, for giving me this chance. And I now request Mr. Chordia to create the, kickstart the keynote address.
Thank you.
Before Mr. Chordia's speech, we can play a video about Dr. Prem C. Jain, father of Indian Green Building Council, will be played now. So for your reference, please. Then we can go for the chief guest speech. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Just give me 1 minute, please. Yeah, it's done now.
The 21st century is progressing at a breathless pace. Richer, bigger, better, and more. But this fast-paced growth brings some serious challenges of the modern times. Today, we are on the verge of exhausting our natural resources and our environmental bounties. Our society is in desperate need of a revolution to save and preserve sustainable habitat for our future generations. The seeds for one such revolution were sown many decades ago, when a wise mother shared her far-sighted vision with her young bright son.
From my earliest childhood, we believe in great belief that truth will always win, what we call Satyamev Jayate. She also gave us the love for all living creatures, trees and plants, the message of non-violence. And ever since my childhood, I've always respected that all life forms are equally important.
This exceptionally talented young boy went on to become a champion crusader for Green India. Dr. Prem Jain graduated from Banaras Engineering College, PhD, in 1957 and went on to the University of Minnesota, USA, to obtain the highest degree of PhD in mechanical and electrical engineering. After spending 13 years working with some best research and design firms in the USA, he decided to return to his Janani Janambhoomi with a vision to build a new India. In 1980, he created Spectral, taking it to the country's most respected premier MEP consulting firm in the next 3 decades.
Another thing that happened in the Spectral time that we were working with, we were challenged, where is your green business center? As proud Indians we are, we said, we'll make the world's greenest. And we did. In 2003, we created Godrej Business Center in Hyderabad, which was then highest rating for any building in the whole world. And Rashtrapati came to inaugurate the building, which is unusual. We normally don't inaugurate the private building. But he did. That's where the green building movement started.
And that was just the start. Throughout his corporate journey, Dr. Prem Jain facilitated a record high of 60 platinum and 40 gold awards from GPC and USGPC for design of green buildings in India. In 2007, Dr. Jain took over the mammoth responsibility heading the Indian Green Building Council, IGBC.
I declared when I became the chairman that next 6 years we'll achieve 1 million square feet. 1 square foot by every Indian. My slogan was very simple.
His slogan became more than a reality when India reached 1 billion square feet of registered green footprint with IGBC in 2012, 3 years ahead of schedule, and further achieved 6.4 billion square feet of green building footprint by 2018. Dr. Jain also created another massive revolution by introducing a chapter on sustainability for the National Building Code of India in 2016.
The beauty of the code is that all municipalities across the country give approval to the plan based on the code. Every building which will come out henceforth, if it has to comply with the code, has to be clean. And I know for sure in another 3 years or 4 years, we'll be far ahead of even America or any other country coming up in the future.
This visionary icon also founded ISHRE, which today has more than 12,000 professional and 8,000 student members. Later, ISHRE and ASHRE India bestowed upon him the Lifetime Achievement Award. He was also instrumental in institutionalizing Green Building Congress, an annual flagship event offering new paradigms to accelerate green building movement in India. For his exceptional work and vast knowledge, he was revered as the father of green buildings in India. One profound idea Dr. Jain strongly held onto was of nurturing and mentoring young bright minds, as he remained paramount through 47 years of relentless commitment to the School of Planning and Architecture, New Delhi, as a visiting faculty.
In light of what I learned about Shanti Niketan out in the open, when I don't have to put anything on the board, the classes meet in the open air here. For me, it is very fulfilling to see these young boys and girls go out in the field fully equipped with the knowledge of the real world. So I don't tell them books, I don't tell them formulae, I don't tell them catalogs. I tell them real life situation.
Today, he's no longer with us, but his legacy and vision will brighten the path for a generation of future leaders. To mark Dr. Jain's birth anniversary on the 26th of January, a week-long celebration titled Harit Prem Bharat Mahotsav will take place from 23rd to 29th January annually. To promote Dr. Jain's love for Mother Nature, the Prem Jain Memorial Trust is formed with a mission to create, establish, and maintain sustainability paradigm through education, recognition, and nurturing of the present and future generations. The vision of the Trust is to identify future leaders and global development of sustainability, create awareness and advocacy on environment, foster development of education, recognition of public participation and innovation, nurture young talent, disseminate education on sustainable development, ecosystems, and built environment, create response mechanism for evolving sustainability, nurture talent recognition, and encourage incubation.
Okay. It was a very nice, wonderful video, and things we've not known till date. It was very useful. So our next program is the keynote from Ajit Kumar sir. So before he talks, let me give a very quick introduction about Ajit sir. I'll have to talk more than 20 minutes if I have to give a full introduction. So much has is in his about him that I can talk. But in the interest of time, we very quickly highlight what that I can do here. So, being an engineering graduate from Chennai, so he is the promoter of Kivraj Motors and Olympia Group, and he is the chairman for CRE Legal and Litigation. He's a co-chairman for IGBC Chennai chapter. He is the immediate past president of CRE Tamil Nadu, and he is the past president of the Confederation of Real Estate Developers Association. He's the past committee member of Indian Road Transport and Development Association. And there are a lot of accolades, one of which would be the Senior Fellowship of Indian Green Building Council in 2018. And he's a lot of contribution to the society and culture. So without taking much more time, I open the stage to Ajit Kumar sir for his keynote. Sir, the stage is for you. Thank you, sir.
Co-panelists and distinguished invitees and participants. Even I would like to pay my respects to Dr. Prem Jain. My association with Prem Jain has been there right from the day I adopted the green philosophy. When I started my work, I was looking at, when I started my real estate, so I ventured into real estate in sometime in early 2000, and in 2003, 2004, I was looking for how my product could be different from others. It is at that time that I was introduced to the Green Building Council, and we adopted the green philosophy. Thereafter, the green has stayed with us. So it is in this venture that I had the opportunity of interacting with Dr. Prem Jain. Is one of, I rate him one of the finest human beings which I have seen. So such was his charisma, and such was the aura which he would exude when we would meet him. I'm an introvert. I just generally don't socialize too much. But even when I would be there meeting him in the IGBC forums, I would be staying a little aloof. He would personally come forward and greet, and ever smiling. A very, very, very fine person. So we all miss him, a true champion of the green building movement. I would once again like to pay my respect before I start with my address. So I'd like to thank IGBC CII for giving this opportunity. I would start with the markets which are there. I've been asked to give a brief on pre and post-pandemic, the scene as far as commercial real estate is concerned. So I will just briefly take you to the situation which was prevailing in pre-pandemic. So just before 2020, that is 2019, and we were wrong. The business which was there was booming. The commercial real estate never had better time. The office space absorption across the country was in cloud nine, and this was the year also that Hyderabad had overtaken in the annual absorption, had overtaken even Bangalore in annual absorption of office space. Similar was the scene even with the retail malls. Even the malls were doing very, very well. The rentals were good. And the office building rentals had also gone up. Vacancies had come down. And the activity was at its peak. So we would have had like places like Bangalore and Hyderabad were always buzzing with activity in terms of new construction. We had markets like Pune, NCR, Mumbai, even they were doing very, very well. And even Chennai was also catching up thanks to the players from the global players as well as players, the national and national developers like from Bangalore. We had a number of developers like we had Embassy, we had Brigade, and we had DLFs. So all these people and Ascendas, so these people really added to new supply in the office market. Pre-pandemic, we also had very, very important milestone in this history of commercial real estate in the country, in that we had a very successful launch of a REIT, that is Real Estate Investment Trust. So the Embassy Blackstone REIT, which was there, was first REIT which was listed on the Indian Stock Exchange, and it met with resounding success. So then we were stuck with the pandemic, and the effect was not really known. We were not able to gauge the impact in the month of January, February, which was there. Only in the month of March, we started with the lockdown, we realized the magnitude of problem which we are going to face. So lockdown was was a big blow to the entire industry, for the entire economy. Not only the office market which is there, the new constructions, the new manufacturing, almost all industries suffered. But a very new phenomena evolved as far as the commercial building. By commercial building, I mean is in India, if you look at the commercial building, you have at least 90% plus of the commercial building is occupied by ITES. So we are talking in terms of the IT parks which are there, which are across the country. In the developed markets of Chennai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, we have less than 10% of the office space being absorbed by the non-IT companies. So if I'm telling office building, it predominantly refers to the IT buildings which are there. So the new phenomena which emerged was work from home. So work from home really caught up, and to the surprise of everyone, at least even people like me, we were surprised that there was no loss of productivity as far as work from home was concerned. And most all IT companies, though the offices were closed, but their delivery to their customers in US and other places continued to be robust. And in fact, if you look at the numbers which were there for the third quarter of the calendar year, almost all had record numbers in terms of profits as well as the top line, these IT companies. So next was the technology absorption. So not absorption, technology adoption. So technology adoption had leapfrog. What would have happened in 5 years happened in probably 6 months. So Zoom became an household name, like what we had seen during our days in 70s and 80s. Xerox used to be the name for a copier. Even today we call Xerox, get a Xerox. So also any video conferencing which is there, so it is called as Zoom. So Zoom and the likes, the technology adoption accelerated. Large office spaces continued to be empty. Even today, after the lockdown has been relaxed substantially, still the offices are empty. So we have just seen in the month of January, I can say from my experience in my own IT building, which we manage, we are yet to reach even 10% of the occupancy. So if in my building we have, in a normal day, almost 12,000 to 13,000 people would be working, we are still less than 1,000 people today. We are able to see that. Again, we are able to see only in the month of January. So we believe that things will start improving in terms of people coming to offices. It will take at least another 3 months, which is there. So thereafter, from March, April to June is what we are expecting. The offices would start, people would start visiting offices. So what has happened in this particular period? So most of these companies are extremely concerned about health and safety of their employees, and they do not want to take any chance. And since work from home has already given good results, so this work from home will continue. Coming to post-pandemic, what is going to happen? What we are looking at as a trend, though we could see TCS having announced that in 2025, large part of their workforce will be working from home. But that may not really be the trend, because from what we are looking at, when we are looking at, even today, we are having quite a lot of inquiries. A lot of these foreign companies which are there are still looking at expanding in India. But it is not going to be just work from home. There are a lot of other challenges which are there, which people are going to be facing. So the fatigue which is there, the connectivity which is there, the space which is available for the family for having an office at home, all these are going to be great challenges which are there. Not to say about what type of psychological impact which it may have on the people, the health of the people. Not having a social infrastructure also, it's a known challenge. So we believe, we at Olympia believe, after my discussion with a number of other professionals and consultants, that it's quite possible about 20% of the work will look at in the long term, in the medium to long term, will be working permanently from home. So if an office was looking at about 1,000 people, maybe 800 people will be there now, and about 200 people will be looking at working from home. The same, if I look at my experience in 2005, 2006, at that point of time when we used to have an office which was requiring about 1,000 seats, he would plan for 1,200 seats and 1,250 seats by keeping 25% extra, he says, this is my absorption which is going to be there. I'm going to recruit more people, so I'm keeping it empty for them. So today it is probably the same. When in 2010 to 2018-19, when cost-cutting initiatives were in place, so keeping these extra seats were given up, and almost all the seats used to get filled. So maybe going forward, we would be seeing more number of seats being kept vacant. Social distancing is what we have been talking about, but I just don't know how much of social distancing is going to be followed, because none of the office companies which we have been talking to, even some of the offices, top offices which we have been doing the fit outs, that means the interior fit outs which we have been doing, none of them have come forward and told us that we want these changes. Instead of 100 square feet per person norm, my new norm is going to be 130 square feet per person. None of them have come forward. In fact, almost all of them have said, no, everything remains same. We are waiting for the vaccine to roll out. Once the vaccine is rolled out is what we would start operations. Only thing to be addressed is the hygiene factors, the quality of the indoor air, the sanitization aspect which is there, the housekeeping aspect. So these are the only things which need to be looked at. So almost uniformly, I have not had one person coming to me and telling that I'm changing my office layout or I'm changing my design which is there to maintain this social distancing. Yes, coming to the technology for improving the safety which is there, the health and safety. Yeah, the thermal scanners which are there, masks which are there will be the hygiene factor at least for the next couple of years. And in terms of the indoor air quality, what used to be the air change cycle which used to be there, we used to have probably for so many air change per hour. Those things are changing. We are now introducing more fresh air into the offices. We have started introducing in the air handling unit the ultraviolet lamps which are there for disinfecting. For new buildings which are there, we have started going in for HEPA filters. So earlier filters used to be 10 micron and 5 micron filters. So now we will be moving over to 5 micron, 3 micron and maybe 2 micron filters. So that is going to be a change which is there. Another change which we are looking at, and we could already observe that the India's largest real estate developer, DLF, they have already adopted this in their building. So what used to be the green was the mantra which was there for the last 14 years, 15 years, which people have been talking about. People have been talking about how to reduce the energy consumption, how to reduce the water consumption which is there, and how to reuse and recycle the material. Now going forward, it is going to be in addition to these green philosophies, what is going to be important is wealth certification. So people have started looking at the well-being of the people, and wealth certification just doesn't mean improving the indoor air quality, but also a lot of other advocacy things like the fresh foods to be made available. The shops are got to be there. A lot of host of other things are there which goes little beyond the green philosophy which we have been used to adopting in the last 14 years. So both these things are going to result in increased maintenance cost and increased electricity costs. So that is going to be inevitable. We will be seeing, while we were looking at energy conservation, reusing the same air which was there, we were using CO2 sensors and only then bringing in fresh air. So for today, immediately once the offices open up, we are talking in terms of 100% fresh air. So recycling of fresh air, at least for some time till the pandemic is in control, it will not be happening. Next, in terms of commercially, the impact of the pandemic is, yes, there has been a moderation in the demand. The rentals have definitely will be softening. At least the increase in rentals which are expected are not taking place. I expect at least about 10% to 15% decrease in rentals. Vacancies, yes, we had nil vacancies. We are now reconciled to having about 8 to 10% vacancies. So these are going to be there. But the good thing is, with every such pandemic, every such global problems and global crisis, we have been seeing huge amount of work coming to India. So I am very confident that we will be getting a lot more work which is there. Even post Lehman, we had initially a blip which was there in demand, but thereafter there was a surge. So same thing is what we are expecting here, that maybe for the year 2020, 21-22, we may have a little bit of a lull, but 22 onwards, we will again be seeing huge demand for office space. So also this co-working is very, very important. It is part of the business. The pandemic or no pandemic, it is not likely to have any further any impact. In fact, we as developers are looking at adopting co-working. The simple reason is I have large clients coming in and they are asking me the flexible. Co-working, one more word for co-working could be is flexible office space. So I have to offer them a solution. So I am dealing with a client who wants 3,000 seat office. He says, will you give me 100% flexibility of going up or coming down? Or out of 3,000 seats which are there, I would like to have a flexibility of 1,000 seats. I may like to surrender it within the lock-in period. So we are getting ourselves for offering these type of solutions, whatever is being offered by a co-working company. So we would also be offering the same facilities for the long-term players. So these are few of the changes which are there. Some of the things I'd be happy to receive any questions which are there from the participants. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. We have arranged for a separate Q&A session at the end, and participants can still post their questions in the chat, and we will take some time to go through those questions in end of the session, before the end of the session. So that was a great flow, sir. Like really, I can visualize how it started. You have really, added each and every component when exactly it comes. Like you added the tech portion, you added the co-working portion. So it's like I could actually see the evolution of how it came out. So very nice, sir. Very nicely put. Thanks a lot for this, enlightenment and the context perfectly set for the panel members to discuss on the same line. So I will, thanking you, Ajit sir, I will take another very few quick minutes to introduce the panel members who are going to discuss the same thing, like how co-working is impacted the commercial real estate as an industry. So before the panel members start their discussion, I want to give a very quick introduction about them. So we have Mr. Akash Bansal. He's a real estate and financial services professional. I have more than 16 years of experience pan-India in the real estate sector, ranging from property acquisitions, corporate real estate, finance, selection of investment opportunities, real estate transactions, and feasibility valuation and feasibility analysis. So that's an interesting segment of the commercial real estate. So next we have Mr. Prabhu, founder of Build Metrics. So he's representing the PropTech, and he's a product leader. He's an accomplished tech architect with close to a decade of experience across the complete product suite, mobile, web, backend systems. He's very passionate about design thinking. He has built and managed mobile-based products for leading organizations, and he has founded 2 startups. So that's going to be another very interesting sector of the commercial real estate. We have Mr. K.K. Eppan, sir, who has served the Indian Army for about 25 years, the capacity of supervisory and management. So first of all, thanks a lot, sir, for taking time. I know someone from veteran being part of this panel is a very proud moment for us, and thank you for that, sir. And he has 20 plus years of experience from the grassroots level in IT years, hospitality, logistics industries. He's been the first assignment for him as the manager, security and title part, and then from then on he has been moving into different. He has handled various roles in various organizations, and now he is the he is the business head, and he's the proprietor, founder, managing director of Maple Security Solutions Private Limited and Next Gen Facility Management Services. So he is representing the facility management segment of the commercial real estate. And we have Madan sir. He's a serial entrepreneur. He's a multi-talented personality. He's actively running a business center in Chennai. So he's going to represent the co-working segment for us today. So more than being panelists, they're all very close friends, and I've been working with them. and another friend, Mr. Venki Ramachandran. I mean, there are, I mean, so much that I can talk about him because he's a very close friend of mine. He's going to moderate this session. I leave the floor open to the panelists, and Venki, if you can take it from here, that will be great. So over to you. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks, Hari. And thanks for introducing the panel. You saved one work from my end there. I can directly get on to the discussion here. So, I'm going to really make this a really fun and informal kind of a conversation there, because we really want to get to, talk here from everyone here who are in this panel. And we have a very interesting set of panels. So typically, whenever we talk about evolution, we have the players who are pretty much in the newer side of things, and whereas, here we have an interesting set of panel who are both from the real estate space, talking about valuation, and also we also have prop tech players. So which means it's a very interesting combination of, in other words, it's both a caterpillar and a butterfly. So, typically they say that when caterpillar evolves to become a butterfly, they say that almost there's nothing in the caterpillar that kind of suggests that it's going to evolve into butterfly. But today we have an interesting panel that is looking at both ends there in terms of what kinds of evolution paths that are going to come in there. So, Mr. Ajit Kumar Chordia, sir, he talked about the aspect of what 20% who are now moving from work from home. Incidentally, I'm speaking here from WeWork office, where I have taken a small short-term lease for this space there, and find this trend interesting to see that in the pandemic phase we saw almost co-working what really went through a very terrible phase, because there was so much of uncertainty that was around, because we weren't sure about when the vaccines would come. And now in the post-COVID, when we have some kind of a clarity about when the vaccine is going, I think there is a very interesting window of opportunity that has come in for the co-working space. So I'm really excited to kickstart this conversation there. So let me start off this panel discussion with Mr. Eppen, sir. Eppen has had, has had a very interesting journey in terms of, like Hari was saying, from managing security to facility management services. So today, when co-working players are themselves trying to look at managing facilities, and because that is one of the larger vision that they're pointing at, how does a facility management player look at the onset of evolution, co-working space? Mr. Eppen, would you like to come in?
Yeah, Mr. Vengi, thanks for giving an opportunity to associate with this August forum. And as far as I am concerned, I have been in the army for last 25 years, the grassroots level, and after coming out from there, almost 20 years with this corporate sector. And finally, I thought of having my own company. We started in 2017. In the army, the co-working is very much, that it's a barrack system. The people are living to their co-working starts. And we have got a lot of experience in the army, how to make the things happen, how it should, that's a teamwork, everything we learned from the army. After that, I used that my experience in my civil life, and always success was behind me. I never went for success. Success was behind me. I got an opportunity to work with these people. And as far as I am concerned, I have got an opportunity to work with the CBRE, JLL, Ascendas, and ITs like TCS, CTS, Mahindra, Ford, Mindtree, industries like Saint-Gobain, Ronald Nissan, Ford, Daimler, Yamaha, Hyundai, Caterpillar. Okay. Now, as far as coming into this co-working space, I have seen that before 2000, we have started this internet cafe. You might be seeing that by the time people are not having that facilities of internet and equipment also. We used to be in the internet cafe to send a message and receive messages. All chatting was happening from internet. That was the first thing I believe is a co-working. And next piece happening is the paying guest. You might have seen that in Chennai, the paying guest, to accommodate several people comfortably in a particular place. And now work from anywhere concept, now work from home, now co-working spaces. Okay, I believe the advantages of this co-working the concept is that flexible workspace, work from near home, work from anywhere, decent offices, high-speed internet, printer and scanner, casual area, professional security, 24/7 access, conference room, gym, private cabin, dedication desk, etc. And the disadvantages on the spot is very few, like imbalance in work life and schedule, mental health, and absence of co-workers. As far as
I love to really, to bring to the question in terms of how do you see as a facility management services your take from on co-working, sir?
See, facility management service concerned, you might have seen that nowadays the system of Alexa, everything is smart now. Okay, if you are having a IoT, Internet of Things in your house, you need not do how much problem on that. When you are starting from your office, you can ask something, put on the light, it will put on the light. And if you ask, put on the AC before reaching your office around 2 kilometers by, put on the AC. Everything is happening on connection with Alexa. Okay. But the physical things that, and even cleaning also, and you can schedule like weekly cleaning, and all those things can be, you can program in the Alexa, and it is happening in Western countries. I have seen that when I visited there. Okay. Now also in a smart smart curtains. Okay, you say in the good morning, the curtains will come up. In the evening, you say good evening, the curtain will go down. These all are things are happening. And in the Indian concept, I have seen that certain things which we cannot avoid. You might have seen that in pandemic period also, the presence of people in facility management was unavoidable. You cannot do anything by sitting at home and doing. So there was not much impact on us during this pandemic because the presence of people were very much required for this cleaning and everything. As far as our security is concerned, also I have seen that owning a security agency, the presence of the people were very much required. We cannot have anything by sitting somewhere else can do and do this all sort of things. So as far as this security and the facility management concerned, we were not impacted because of this pandemic. And in future also, I believe it is not going to impact anything on that our such products.
Okay, so let me take this question now to to a different tangent into the financing and the valuation side of things there. Akash, you've been for almost like 15-16 years in the in the valuation space there, and you've almost seen through the entire tide over time there. So now when typically today when we look at the the valuation models, so today it is largely when I see the co-working players, they are almost operating like the way traditional hotels would operate, which is looking at about 20-30% of operating margin, while clocking in an 80 to 90% of utilization. So in this kind of a context, how do you see the valuation game changing when in this kind of a scenario where the operating models are beginning to look more like the hotel industry?
So basically, if you look at the commercial real estate sector, I would say that this is going to be more realistic than the speculative which was happening in the past. So now, before we get into the actual valuation, we need to understand the commercial real estate aspect in a much deeper way. So what I think is, the real estate sector in India has already been evolving. It's been evolving since 2000. But now I think, if you look at the pre-pandemic season, let us say in 2019 and 2018, the quality supply of commercial real estate and the demand in the commercial real estate sector, there was a much deep gap between them. There was more demand than the supply. So even if the pandemic hits at around 10 to 20% of that particular demand, still there is a robust demand for the time to come. So I would say that, whatever pandemic has bring in, like there's been a sudden shocker for the commercial real estate sector, but that is being very, very short driven and short term basis. Right. Now coming to the valuations, like if you look at the rentals, right? So in India, the rentals are approximately $1 or less than $1 per square feet per month in commercial real estate sector. That I'm talking about the quality ITES spaces, which is much, much, much competitive than the other part of the world. So if you compare the other countries with India, so the demand in India is not going to slow down. So there will not be much of a valuation impact on the commercial real estate sector. So, but I think there's a good demand from MNCs. Like, there are two sets of demand. One is from the MNCs and one is from the domestic corporate side. So which is also very much significant demand, right? If you compare both of them, there's a robust demand coming up. Now looking at the alternative assets, right? So since we can see that, due to this COVID and due to this pandemic, there has been a sudden work from home culture that has popped up. There's a sudden distributive office that has popped up, but certainly there are certain advantages to that also, because that gives us an opportunity. Because we have come out with a new concepts like a co-working, we have come out with a new concepts like a co-living, we have come out with a organized warehousing. So there has been alternative options which has largely emerged and which has attracted the investors also. Like, if you look at the foreign investment, there's a lot of foreign investments which are right now looking at investing only into warehousing, which are looking at primarily into the co-living space, primarily looking at the hospitality sector or hospitals. So there the investment now Indian real estate is evolving with the new concepts, with the new terminologies which can give them the higher yield. Like, I'll give you a classic example about the residential sector. Residential yield, if you look at, they give you around a 3.5% yield, right? But when you use that particular space for a co-living, right, that gives you a yield which is less than the commercial but more than the residential. So there's a opportunity that emerges, right? So you are using that particular residential space or a commercial space for the use which is not being thought out before. So I would say that the valuation models are changing. Valuations is going to be more complex from now onwards, because you are not doing only the traditional commercial and the residential real estate valuations. You have to think out of the box to look at the opportunities which can give you higher yield and higher valuations. So I think in the time to come, I believe we have a robust demand for next 3 to 5 years. We have a robust supply also, quality supply also, because most of the developers are now looking at supplying the product which is more of a quality rather than the supply, right? So there's a quality supply coming up in the market. So I think the valuations, more than valuations, I think developers and the investors are eyeing towards the quality supply, quality products which are being delivered by the developers.
Thanks, Akash. So I think you bring an interesting segue to bring in Prabhu's perspectives here. So you're talking about quality supply here, and Prabhu's startup is a very interesting attempt to see how can we track the progress of each of these supply, which is the developers and their products and their offerings. So Prabhu, I would like to switch to you. In your experience, you said you worked with the Shriram Group in terms of digitizing the process, the progress it takes for a building to get completed, and then sharing them with, and also bringing an ecosystem of channel partners here. So what has been your experience in terms of the openness of the developers to largely to digitizing their processes, which have so far been somewhat opaque?
Yeah. So basically, to start with, so the after pandemic, what happened was especially real estate and construction industry is at very nascent stage in adopting technology. So there was a lot of resistance in adopting technology. It's one of the industry which has least adopted technology. But after pandemic, the reverse happened. Every single developer out there, or even be it real estate, commercial real estate or residential real estate, everybody there was a sudden spike for a need for digitization, right from tracking their entire construction progress on the remote, because not everyone has travel access during the pandemic especially, and even now there's a lot of restriction in travel, right? So what happens, be it for the lender, be it for the banker, be it for the customer, be it for the internal construction teams, everybody has a need demand for real time updates on what's happening, especially from a progress perspective, be it communications or so. There's a lot of less access to travel for people to commute and see the sites and explore their progress. Be it even handover happened digitally actually during the pandemic actually. So every single customer out there actually leveraged their smartphones to see the real time what's the hand, rather than wait for the pandemic to get over. And apart from that, there are a lot of internal operations from the developer side, which has also seen a spike in digitization, especially sending demand notes, and and also along with the be it progress or be it handover. Especially coming to co-working spaces, what happened? A lot of co-working spaces adopted a face-based access rather than touch-based access actually. So like bringing into artificial intelligence solutions like face access, and especially providing flexible spaces, these co-working spaces who wanted to give flexible spaces where and actually showing real-time inventory to these potential customers out there who want to actually rotate the space to their customers by leveraging technology. So this particular pandemic actually helped all of us to actually see that technology plays a major role, and also it's not that everybody has not adopted. Few people were trying out solutions, but now everybody started trying out these solutions so that the business operations are not being hindered or stopped just because technology is not out there actually.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Prabhu. So, I mean, what you're saying is in terms of the adoption is while there has been further changes and while the operating models have continued to evolve while keeping up with the demand there. So now that we've talked about supply, I want to bring it to the demand side there because Madan is here. Madan has been a co-working operator and has had a very interesting journey of running an IT services company which is into digital marketing and also running a co-working space out of Chennai. Madan, if I were to bring you into this perspective, so you've been into the as a co-working operator, you've been into the thick of things for a very long time now. So how has pandemic affected the demand there? Has demand come back and rebounded to the early pre-COVID days for you? Madan, are you there?
Yeah, I am there. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. And I can make two different things, before pandemic and after pandemic. Before pandemic, we are 100% full in our offices, in our branches. And after pandemic, we are getting again the new startup and co-working spaces are little gaining up. And are you hearing me?
Yes, I very well hear you. Please go on.
Yeah, it's a difficult time after the pandemic to gain the business again. And the people are looking for the cost effective because they do not need for going for a big premises. They're coming for the lesser price and lesser investment. So they are come across for the co-working spaces, and the SME are looking for business center due to high leasing rents for many operators side.
Mm-hmm. Madan, are you able to hear us or did we lose you? Madan, you're on mute.
Sorry. Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, Mr. Ajit Kumar has said I should thank Mr. Ajit Kumar for giving a lot of information about the co-working spaces. We are trying out ourselves to gain again the businesses. And from November, December, we are getting a lot of inquiries and people are converting to co-working spaces. And I think in the next 3 months or 4 months, we'll gain more people inside our work premises.
Okay. Thanks, Madan. So, Akash, you brought in the point about earlier about the speculative journey that has now changed. So, in what ways the rise and fall of Adam Newman and the entire WeWork episode that happened globally, how and we know that in India the scene is fairly different because you have the the different players, the real estate players, and have kind of come in into this board there. The embassy group has been sort of running in the WeWork India there. So in broader terms, how has this entire episode really changed the the way the investments in real estate and the funding has changed?
So basically, if you look at 10 years back or 15 years back, it was largely the domestic investors who were investing into the real estate sector. Largely, the commercial spaces were built not to lease out but to sell out. And if you look at the residential space was largely were bought, and there was speculation because plotter developments were bought and there were speculations on that. But if you look at last 5 to 10 years, there has been a lot of changes in the developer side also, because there are a lot of quality developers like a Godrej, Tatas, DLF, Brigade, Prestige. They have come into the picture. Hiranandani's, Oberoi's, they have come into the picture. They have started developing assets not for selling but for the leasing it out. So which gives an opportunity for the financial institutions, for NBFCs, for the foreign investments to actually park their money over in those particular assets, which gives them the higher yield. Like if you compare the yield in European market or in the American market, and you compare the similar with the Indian market, they get a better returns in the Indian market, right? And because of that return, there's a lot of foreign investment which is coming up in India and investing into their commercial buildings. Now if you look at the quality of supply, right? So earlier there were developers who were making properties, largely the commercial properties, they were selling shops. But now no developers like a A-grade developers, they don't want to sell anything because they want to build something, they want to rent it out, or they want to sell it to the to the financial institution on the yield basis or the capitalized basis. So the fundamental of investment has changed. Now investment is not for the speculative purpose. Now investment is largely for the long-term perspective, because now if you look at the even the B-grade towns or a C-grade towns, they have started picking up because of the quality supply is there. The lifestyle has changed. The saving patterns of the individuals have changed, because now they're spending more than they are saving, right? So the fundamental of real estate sector has completely changed in past 5 to 10 years. So that is the reason I think there's the investments are popping up. There are a lot of investment from the foreign. There are a lot of investment from the corporate houses like Tata's. They are investing largely into the real estate. If you look at Godrej, they have ventured into real estate. Mahindra's, they have ventured into real estate, largely to provide the quality supply across India.
Okay. So your point about in changing the where the different set of players and the fundamentals makes me to explore the question with Prabhu, which is largely today you have these various new set of channel players who have also come in, like you have the 99 acres and other channel players who are trying to aggregate the demands there. So in your end, how has these middlemen, if I may call them, how have that changed the way the demand generation is happening in the in the commercial real estate space?
So actually, to answer your question from a different perspective, what we have observed is now every single developer, especially the residential developer, they want to sell their inventory, but fortunately or unfortunately, a lot of sentiment home buyers are looking from a different perspective from an investment thesis. So here, what is happening is as per the previous conversation with the other panel member, there is a demand for home office setup. Example, there's a lot of unsold inventory from apartment complexes actually. So here what happens is developers can tie up with any of the co-working brands, or even a new brand can actually pop up in this segment, like converting the unsold inventory into a convertible compact home office setup for these apartment associations, because like a lot of people don't have a proper home office setup because it is an intersection of their family space actually, right? So there is a demand from a apartment perspective, like people there can actually walk into a different floor of their own apartment and set up their own co-working space rather than sharing the same space in a real estate or a home actually. So the unsold inventory can be creatively utilized for a can be converted into a co-working space rather than actually looking at from a pure residential purpose. So this is where the opportunities are popping up, where any company can actually leverage this idea or concept to convert this unsold inventory into a overnight co-working space by not just taking a commercial real estate space. So that what happens is this becomes a semi-commercial real estate space. Like also the rental yields will be much more than the yield will be much more than a proper residential rental yield, but not exactly as a commercial rental yield, but it's more little less like either a co-living space or a co-working space. That actually makes a lot of sense for developers, and also for work from home opportunities actually.
Okay, interesting. Thanks, Prabhu. When you talk about unsold inventory, at one level, while there is newer set of opportunities that are coming up with more open, where the possibility convert them to co-working, but at the same time, with the pandemic, we are also seeing that the average space per desk is also increasing because people have to follow social distancing there. So, just what I want to bring this to Epan sir to maybe look at when we are, how has facility management has geared themselves to adapt in this post-COVID in terms of ensuring that people's spaces and at the same time are well sanitized, and how has that affected your costs and operations? Epan sir, would you like to come in?
Yeah, Ms. Vengi, when you know that this pandemic started, it was badly affected the people's mind that it is going to happen like that. Okay, we have taken a lot of measures to educate the people and sanitize most of the places so that people can work. Even that we were managing some big housing site. If one or people got affected because of this pandemic, people refuses to go and work there. We used to motivate these people, and they started understanding the pandemic, how it works. Then they started, and almost now people understood, and there is no problem for anybody to work anywhere. That is the concept now happened.
Okay. Okay. So, Hari, just wanted to check on the time front. Do we still have some time? Because we are seeing some questions also coming in.
I know we have already exceeded, but I think, it's going very nicely, so I didn't want to stop the flow. But if you want to wrap this up, then we can move to a couple of questions from the chat and we can close the session.
Sure. So so I think what we are hearing, when I hear from all the panelists here is the fundamentals are in a way certain same, but some of the fundamentals have changed to a certain extent, that keeping aside the fact that the demand has been to a certain extent, and also what we are seeing here is more and more openness from developers to digitize some of the processes, and with the channel players coming in, there is emphasis on that the unsold inventory gets also sold in there. So with this sort of a very brief summary here, I'll sort of move into some of the questions that are coming in there. One question that has come out is, how do you see home office setups affecting co-working space businesses? I think we have talked about it. Ajit sir talked about the 20% people are largely work from home, and with the companies now, their office policy is now changing. To either 2 days a week where you're expected to come to office, or 3 days a week. Then there is beginning to have a shift in terms of having a combination of some amount of work that's happening from home, and also some amount of work that will be required from either a co-working facility or a shared lease facility, whichever is opted by the company there. So, but if any of the panelists would like to add something point to this in terms of how the home offices and our working from home is affecting the co-working, please chime in here. Yes, Akash.
So I don't think that there will be much of an impact on the co-working space for the commercial real estate segment, because if you look at the short-term impact because of this work from home office or the distributed office, so though the demand is going down, but there is a there's an increase in demand also, because now because of the social distancing, the density norms is likely to change. Rather than 80 square feet per person, you would require, let's say, 120 square feet per person or 125 square feet per person. So on a net impact, if you see, I don't see there is much of a demand, disturbance in the demand. So I would say that co-working spaces, because they give a better space utility, they give a better shared facilities. So there will be a lot of demand on the co-working space because of this work from home culture. And moreover, if you look at the employees, employer can give you a table or a chair, or they can give you, they can reimburse you Wi-Fi and all, but they cannot pay you for the space that you are using, right? So they cannot pay you 100 square feet price. So work from home is a very temporal thing, I would say, and so there's a huge demand for the co-working space in the time to come.
Okay, thanks, Akash. So the other question is, how do we foresee the growth of co-working? I think we've largely talked about it in terms of how at least multiple predictions talk about either 1/3 of the open space will become distributed over 2030, or at least 65% commercial real estate would sort of also be taken over by co-working. These are some of the broader predictions that we are seeing. There's another question that's coming from Venkateshwaran Bala. After the pandemic lull, we expected a sharp reduction in the cost of flats, but disappointing in Bangalore and Hyderabad. How do you react to it? Would you like to take the question, Akash? Would you want me to repeat the question?
Please repeat the question.
After the pandemic, we saw a sharp reduction in the cost of flats in and around Chennai, but whereas it was not so in the case of Bangalore and Hyderabad, comparatively. So how would you respond to that?
See, residential supply is largely driven by the kind of usage that you put into. If you are buying the apartment for your own use and these are ready to move in kind of apartment, there's no reduction in the prices. But if there is if the residential supply is either the under construction or the proposed proposed project, or it is for the investment purposes, I think that supply, there's an impact on the price. There is an impact, price impact on that particular supply. So I would say that in Chennai, largely I think it is the supply which is under construction, or which is for the investment purposes only, not for the self use or for the end use purposes. Then I think there is a price impact. But in Bangalore and Hyderabad, I think there's a robust demand. There's a robust supply of the completed kind of project, or a ready to move in kind of project, or a nearing completion projects. I think that is the reason there is no distress on the pricing on that particular supply.
Okay, interesting. Thank you. I know we are very much short on time, so I'll probably hand this over back to Hari, and with a note of thanks to everyone. Thanks Akash, thanks Epan sir, thanks Madan, and thanks Prabhu. It was a very interesting combination of both the old and the new, and we are trying to see how the old will converge into the new. So thank you very much for the participation. Back to you, Hari.
Thank you, Venkat. That was excellent debate. But before I conclude this panel membership, there is one more question. I'm not sure if it will be right if I post it to Ajit sir. There is one question that's come. They're asking that what are some privacy implications that commercial real estate operators need to navigate when it comes to utilizing unused spaces in existing offices? So if there are any legal implications, privacy implications related to unused spaces in existing offices. So if Aditya is still here, I see if we can take this and enlighten us. Ajit sir?
Sorry, Mr. Hari. I got a message from Mr. Ajit sir. He's having some technical issue. So we can we will share the questions to him personally to his email, and we'll get the reply.
Okay, let's do that. No problem. So I mean, it was an excellent combination from, like Venkat said, it was like from all different segments. like someone talking about the tech implications, someone talking about the co-working, someone as an operator, like Madan, who has been into this field, actual field person from the co-working side, talking about their experiences. When we were doing our initial analysis of co-working, so we there was one company named Office. They were like trying to innovate the co-working space with the tempo traveler. All the tempo travelers which were not used, they want to convert that into a co-working space. Now, when Prabhu was talking about, he was mentioning about a new, totally different offering, that all the existing unused inventory of residential can be given as a home office setup and leased or rented. So it's just about getting creative and seeing how inventory can be better used and how the overall industry can be saved, right? So I'm very sure this is going to be more interesting things coming along. And I'm also very sure that real estate, commercial real estate, and co-working are going to come up in a very colorful way. So thank you again. Thank you, Venkat. Thank you all the panelists individually. So now we are coming to the end of the session. So thank you all the participants for posting their questions. Keep posting your questions. We will ensure that we get a response to you in the email format. Now, final but not the least, like none of the organizations, can be successful without a very key ingredient. You know what is that? That's the combination of the co-founders, right? So if the co-founders don't match, whatever be the situation, you cannot come up in as an organization. So here I welcome my partner, my Nanban Saju, to have the word of thanks and close the session. Saju, over to you.
Thank you, Hari. Good morning to everyone. My spirit gladdens deep within me as I take this opportunity to extend my sincere gratitude to all the participants of this session. An art cannot be painted without a wall, and we wouldn't have been here without the support of CII and IGBC, and I would like to extend my sincere thanks for their contribution. Similarly, a boat cannot reach the destination if it is not steered properly, and it was heartening to have our chief guest, Mr. Ajit Kumar Chordia, who helped to steer this event in the right direction, which immensely benefited all of us with his insights on the office and co-working market during pre and post-pandemic period. The views expressed by our panel members on growth of technology in the commercial and co-working, quality, demand and supply on the real estate sector, impact of co-working market pre and post-pandemic period, investment markets had set us the precise flare to set ablaze our thoughts, gearing us for the upcoming future of co-working industry. I would like to thank every speaker for enabling us to visualize the concepts for today's session. Lastly, I would like to thank V.K. Raman sir and Venki Ramachandran for the support to make this event a grand success. Special thanks to the HDS organizing committee members for the backbone support and putting this event together. Before we depart, I would like to express my salutation each and every one of you for taking time and making this event a grand success. Thank you all.
Shiva sir, over to you. So thank you all the participants. So please continue to post your questions, and you have Shiva sir's email, my email. You can post your questions directly to us, and we'll ensure we'll respond it to you. And thank you one and all from our side. Nandri, welcome.
Thank you so much for the interactive sessions on co-working and evolution of Indian real estate space. The session was very useful and awesome. As Harizar said, if you have any queries, you can reach Mr. Harizar or myself on the email. So we will try to sort it out everything. So thank you so much for the session panelists, and thank you so much for Mr. Ajit Kumar sir. And I especially thank Mr. Vivek from IGBC for his support to run this session. Thank you so much. Thank you again.
Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.